Hey there everybody, it's Mark Curley. I'm back with another video. This is part 3 in my ongoing series of videos showing art from my old sketchbooks that I did in Taiwan years ago. Before we get started though, I want to quickly explain something about last week's video, my 10-year anniversary video. At the beginning of it I showed this so-called certificate from YouTube. I just want people to understand this is not real, guys. I made this myself and I just stuck it into a cheap frame that cost me $7.99. My apologies. A number of people seemed to be fooled by this, although I thought it was going to be super obvious because of this stuff about the blushies that I put in here. But anyway, I started to feel guilty as I saw comments from people who really seemed to believe that was the real deal. I didn't mean to fool anyone, but if I fooled you, I do apologize. Let's get into this first sketch. These all come from the year 1988-89, back when I was teaching English at the YMCA in Taiwan. Let's zoom into this one. Fairly typical of the loose sketch work that I was doing in the outdoors, observing light and shadow. That's the reason that this one stuck out to me. You can see me trying to get that feeling of light being cast by that umbrella. And even here, using black or darker areas to sort of push back the deep shadow of that area. Techniques that I'm still using today. Here's another one of these temple sketches. I was always, quite blown away by the beauty of Taiwan, that you could just be walking down the street and come across this incredibly lovely old Chinese architecture just around any average street corner. It seemed like you could stumble across scenes like this, and of course I would pull out the sketch pad and start drawing. Last summer I did a video where I did a drawing outdoors. People seem to enjoy it, and so watch this space. I'd like to do another one of these outdoor drawing videos. It really is a great way to practice your inking skills. This one not really specifically related to Taiwan, just a drawing of a tree, but you can see me wrestling with the detail of drawing trees. I think trees are among the most difficult things to draw just because the branches do create this incredible maze of detail that is almost overwhelming for the artist, I find. And you have to come up with strategies to simplify it, maybe do it in an impressionistic way. You can see me sort of struggling with it, trying to figure out how am I going to draw this without driving myself crazy, trying to get every last little leaf and twig. Yeah, it's something that I'm still working on these days. Drawing trees. If you have trouble with it, you are not alone. I think we all have trouble drawing trees. Now this is kind of a cautionary tale, the perils of using a water-soluble ink pen, which is what I was using for all of these sketches. You can see that a little drop of water at some point fell upon the illustration over here, and boom, that whole area was kind of wrecked. And these days I'm of course using a permanent ink pen that cannot really be affected by water, and I strongly encourage you to do the same. If you are shopping for ink pens, have a look and see, does it say it's waterproof? And go for that, definitely, because you don't want to, this is a light sketchy thing, but imagine if I had labored over this thing for hours and hours and hours and then the water fell on it. Just too heartbreaking. I wanted people to see this example of this kind of loose, sketchy, fairly simplistic work that I was doing at that time. I think it's a child playing with one of these old-fashioned Chinese toys, a little bit like a yo-yo, but with the string kind of going across the middle of it. Let me know in the comments section if you know what this is called, any of you familiar with Chinese culture. On this same page you can see drawings that I did of Buddhist monks with their shaved heads and the special clothing that they wore. Taiwan, things like this to people living in Taiwan are just average everyday scenes, but to me, coming from America, a lot of this just magical, and I was definitely inspired to try to capture as much of it as I could in these sketches. Now this is probably my personal favorite out of the batch of drawings that you're going to see here today. I am not an expert at portrait illustration, but I feel pretty good about this one. I think I did a decent job of drawing this guy. As I recall, it was the father of one of my friends, and he did in fact sit there and pose a little for me, you know, without moving, so that I could do this drawing. There are a lot of disastrous attempts from these days in which I tried to draw the human face and just got it really wrong, but this time I think I managed to pull it off. And maybe that's a subject for a future video, portraiture, that I could do something teaching that. Though, as I said, I'm not the world's foremost expert on it, but you know, yeah, I'm willing to give it another try. Why not? Speaking of which, here's another attempt at portraiture. Much tighter control. I probably put more time into this one, but I think it's a little less successful somehow than that last one I showed you. But I thought it was important for you guys to see how I was practicing. Not always, you know, knocking it out of the ballpark every time I put pen to paper, but just doing my best to improve, learn a little something from each drawing that I did. Now this one is a sort of a cultural aspect of Taiwan. This stand, this roadside stand over here, is selling betel nut, or what the Chinese call binglang, and it's a little hard to describe, but it's a kind of a vegetable that they've applied some sort of substance to that people chew. And I believe it sort of wakes them up almost like caffeine or something like that. I don't know if it's truly addictive or not, but people definitely had the habit. And unfortunately, it's a little like chewing tobacco. People would have to spit the excess stuff out of their mouths and onto the roadside, and they've created these sort of dark red splotches all over the place. I wish I knew more about the whole tradition of it, but it certainly brings back life in Taiwan in all its mixed glories whenever I think about the little betel nut stands. Every once in a while I would try this sort of super clean line approach where I would add no shadow at all, and I would try to do almost everything with a single stroke of the pen. It's not a style that I use so much these days, but I practiced a lot, and you can see me trying to draw the Chinese characters that way. I think this is maybe, for me, the most successful part of this illustration. I was fascinated, and I still am fascinated by the beauty of Chinese characters, and I would just sit there and draw them over and over again. Each one of them just seemed like a work of art to me. The way they had evolved over the years, the balance of the various elements and so forth. And yeah, definitely something that I found myself drawn to again and again. Here's another temple sketch, or something from a part of a temple. And this one, a bit more detail than some of these other illustrations I've been doing. Definitely got into the cross-hatching with this one. If you want to learn more about cross-hatching, I do have a video that teaches my approach. I will link to it in the description of this video. And very time-consuming, but there's a certain beauty to cross-hatching that you know, sets it apart from any other form of drawing. And if you like this look, I would definitely encourage you to try learning the technique. It's certainly a nice thing to have in your toolbox as an artist. Here's some more of these roadside sketches. Always had my sketchbook with me in those days as I kind of walked down the road and came upon scenes that seemed worth doing a drawing. Or indeed, sometimes I was just waiting for a bus and whatever happened to be in front of me, I would start drawing it. It looks like this guy was working on his motorcycle. Of course, Taiwan was and probably remains the land of motorcycles and motor scooters. You just saw them all over the place. Sometimes a family of 4 or 5 with like the little kids and babies and stuff, all piled onto a single motorcycle. I don't know about the safety issues, but it was a very impressive sight to behold. Let me move this one down here so you can get a little closer look at this. I think selling some kind of food here, but again, you saw me trying to reproduce these characters that I would see on the signs. And maybe we should let this be the last of them, a drawing that I made, again, along the side of the road, and this is a type of Chinese sausage called xiangchang, and it is dried in the sun, I believe, after they've made it. I don't know if it's cooked in any other way, but I'll tell you one thing, it's absolutely delicious. If you are ever in an authentic Taiwanese restaurant and you have the chance to have a bite of xiangchang, I definitely recommend it. It is just a delightful taste and unlike any sausage I've had anywhere else in the world. Well, I think that's going to be it for this time. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you check out the other two that preceded it, and rest assured there will be more coming in the months ahead. But for now, I'll just go ahead and wind down the video. Thanks so much for watching it. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back with another one real soon.